Peace, family. It's your brother B Knowledge Allah. We're back with the B Knowledge Academy, Black Family Education. Now, today I'm continuing on polygyny, right? One of the most thorough topics, what's going to be one of the most appreciated topics, and probably most sought after topic that brothers speak to me about and sisters ask me about, and brothers go through every day, which is how to introduce polygyny. Now, fortunately, in my situation, things were different, right? We have knowledge of self. So that means there's a lot of mental barriers already broken in my wife's mind, right? We have a long-term relationship, so there was already a trust established, right? There was already children, right? So there's already the growth and development aspect of nation building established firmly in my relationship from the beginning. You understand? We were always about having children, being Black, essentially, right? So it was easy, right, to at least bring it up. It wasn't accepted right away at all. It wasn't accepted. It was actually rejected. It wasn't agreed with from the beginning. However, like I said, how to introduce polygyny, at least my take, I went the educational route. It was simple as that. I went the educational route, meaning there are many sisters and brothers, but definitely plenty of sisters out there that speak on polygyny, especially nowadays with access to YouTube and social medias. There are many books out there that sisters have written in or commented in, concerning polygyny. There, the educational route as far as man's biology and woman's biology. Us already having children, her having a thorough understanding of pregnancy and things of that nature will lead into what? The educational route leads to the truth. It's simple. Just be honest. That's really the biggest tip. Just be honest. Because there really is no introduction. 9 times out of 10, a brother has shown signs of polygyny already, whether he has so-called cheated, whether he has almost cheated, you understand? Whether he is constantly in and out of relationships because he can't stay with one woman due to the prescribed monogamy, right, in the West. So there's already signs of polygyny a majority of the time. So there really is no introduction per se, but for the video's sake, how to introduce polygyny, right? So when I say there is no introduction, I'm just saying because it's already there. Woman, no, man. There's plenty of vlogs on this, plenty of blogs on this, plenty of talk forever on how men are men per se, and a man will be a man per se. From married women to single women, disgruntled and very comfortable and confident alike. You understand? This exists in the many layers of the atmospheres and different mindsets and ideologies of women out there. So the educational route is what I take. Teach her, you know what I'm saying, what it means to have a strong family and have polygyny, right? And how natural it is, one, because she already knows that, like I said. She already gets you. Women already get exactly who a man is. It's just about if he's gonna be in the position to be who he is or not. That's what it boils down to. Again, if he's gonna be in the position to really be who he is or not. And you have the ability to put yourself in that position. Now, besides the educational route, besides her naturally already knowing about polygyny, right? You have to realize two things, because I'm going to keep this video short and sweet. This could go on panel for panel for panel on how to introduce polygyny, but I keep it simple. Honesty, truth, straight to the point. Like I said, it's about a declaration. More than an introduction, it's really a declaration. Like, listen, this is what I realized, right? Because men already do it. But when I say how to introduce polygyny per se, what I'm saying is how to come to your wife and say, I want a second wife. How to come to your wife and say, I want multiple women in my life, intimately, etc. That's what you mean by introducing polygyny. Because in this Western culture of monogamy, right? That's the expectation of a man, right? So we have to introduce it per se because it's expected or it's normalized that monogamy is the order of the day. So when you introduce polygyny, really you're just stating, you're declaring, like I said, it's not really introduction, it's a declaration. Once you have this realization, which most of us have to come to, it's a realization, a self-realization of this is what who you are. Next is the declaration. So the declaration is what? Coming to her and being straight to the point. Women don't like men that beat around the bush. They like a man that's straightforward to the point, stern, and is going to basically stick with what he says, you know? So listen, I want more than one woman. And of course, there's emotional um, things that come into that. Of course, in this world of monogamy, it's gonna get a lot of denial in that, you know. However, like I said, the educational route and the fact that you're honest and stern, most of the time, brothers, most of the time, she's gonna be with it just because you're honest and open. Because that's just what women really desire and really look for. And like I said, 9 times out of 10, no introduction is necessary because you've already showed your history of polygyny in one way or another, you know. So, and like I said, I'm talking about if brother has a wife, you know, you're introducing this to your wife. I'm not talking about just chicks off the street, even though it still applies in introducing polygyny. What I'm speaking on in particular is a brother that's in a relationship or a brother that's coming into a marriage or coming into a long-term relationship, right? This is how you introduce polygyny, the educational route and the truthful route. This is what I do. This is who I am. The declaration of it, period, is how you introduce it. And what's next is just the educational route. So the women are firm in what they're doing. Some people may see that as laws, statutes, commandments of holy texts. If you subtract the dogma from it, I can go with that. However, it's just what men have lived out and what have men, different men have gone through, what different men have shown and proven through building strong families. Like I said, whether one or 100 women, however the case is, in this, how to introduce polygyny. Now, there's 2 points I want brothers to dig into. 2 points that I want you to take well. One is every man has his own program. This is a part of introducing polygyny. Again, this is a part of introducing polygyny. Every man has his own program. There's no such thing as, unless you're religious, and I'm non-religious. I'm talking about just straight polygyny. There's no such thing as rules of engagement per se, as far as how a man wants to go about it. Every man sets his own program up. I have a courting system. I have a way I go about dealing with women. Some brothers are more free, some more restricted, some more disciplined, you know, some more worldly. However, it's about having a program, right? So that there's no chaos when women come on board, when you're introducing polygyny. There's no, I thought you were going to do this, I thought you were going to do that, I thought you were going to do that. Because even if you have zero rules in your engagement with women, you can just sleep with who you want. That's your style of polygyny. It's just common. As long as you're responsible and safe, right? If that's your thing, then that has to be established as your program. That's the part of being honest and introducing the polygyny. If you want to go with wives and concubines, senior wife, junior wife, all the shit, you know, these religious brothers get into, whatever. However, it has to be a part of your program to introduction. And like I said, there is no set program for polygyny. There is no way to do it. That's why I said in the last video, stop making excuses for polygyny. Like, oh, because God said it, because this one said it, because this patriarch did it. That's why we gonna do it this way. No, you chose to follow it like that because you dig how he did it, right? And you peep game, and that was wise to run with. It's because you wanted to do it, not because there's any mystery God or entity outside yourself. Now, like I said, besides the basic introduction, which is keeping it 100 and just declaring, right, what you've already shown, simple as that. Besides the educational route, right? Besides that point I made about what program. Every man has his own thing. Keep that clear in the introduction to polygyny, because you don't want her to think, especially researching, going into it, because she's going to ask friends, she's going to look into it. You don't want her to think polyamory, polyandry. You don't want her to think it's how this one does it or that one does it, or according to this religious text or that religious text. You have to come with your program. So in introducing polygyny, be clear on what polygyny is to you, right? Now, my second point, and one of my most valid points before I get out of here, is something women figured out a long time ago, which is you have options. You know the saying, there's plenty of fish in the sea. You know, a lot of these things have been tossed around and used and been joked about in the dating scene, right? However, in reality, just like I said, sisters have figured out a long time ago, if you're not going to treat me right, there's a brother that will. If you're not going to agree with my progress in life, there's a brother that will. If you're not going to do ABC, 1, 2, 3, there's a brother that will. And rightfully so. Because I'm not talking about in a malice way. I'm not talking about in a negative connotation. I'm speaking in what? Positivity, or a woman that wants to bring what? Life to herself and advancement to herself. She may require these things. Simple as that. Women figured this out a long time ago, that they will find a man that can satisfy financially, sexually, security, period. A woman will find a man to secure her. So relating this to brothers, something women figured out a long time ago is, brothers, you have the same option. You don't have to beg no sister to be in polygyny. You don't have to beg a sister to be your second wife, third wife, fourth wife in particular. As simple as that. The introduction to polygyny with your first wife, that's going to depend on the woman. And like I said, 9 times out of 10, it's most likely just a declaration. So she been dealing with it, and now she don't want to deal with it because you're being open, right? And you're doing it and putting it in a law, right? type of form. Now she don't want to deal with it because the honesty that's involved, then that's not the woman for you. As simple as that. Because like I said, if you was already showing all them signs of polygyny and showing polygynous actions for years, months, and days, and now because you're saying, listen, I don't want to be a liar, I don't want to walk in truth. Right now, I want to be a man. Right, I want to walk with my what, chin up, chest out. Now you want to leave me. You'd rather me be submissive. You'd rather me be a creep. You'd rather me be scared of you. You'd rather me be slick and say, "Oh, I got to do X, Y, and Z." When she get mad, when she see it or figure out, all she gonna do is snap, and that's it. I'm gonna say sorry. I'm gonna get it over with, and I'm gonna keep going. You rather what? That phase of life for your man. So, like I said, when it comes to educating and introducing on polygyny, you want to know that you have the same option than fishes in the sea. You have the same option, that there's plenty of women out there that'll go exactly with your program. Now, I'll give there's a couple examples. Like I said, you may be a brother who wants to travel a lot. There are many women that will not be with a man who wants to travel, that can't stand, you know, not being around physically, their husband. So you may need to be out the country 7+ months a year. You may need to be out the country several years consecutively, where you're only in a month or two, if that. Maybe a merchant. You may travel for your particular skill or trade. And there's many women now say no. However, brothers, like I said, son and sisters figured out a long time ago. Brothers know there are sisters that will ride with you. And there are several sisters that will ride with you through your traveling and you being out 9, 10 months a year. Just to put it in context, for brothers that want a lot of babies, some sisters say 1, 2, and done, one and done. Some don't want none, right? Some sisters figured out, hey, there's a brother that don't want children, just like me. There's a brother that's single. What's the thing you hear, right? No children, job, credit, all that. They can get that because they know there's plenty of brothers out there like that, and plenty of brothers not. They can ignore those dudes. They could dub them and what? Deal with the dudes that do have what they want. So brothers, it's the same thing. You ain't gotta beg no woman to be in polygyny with you. All you have to do is realize that what? I'm the polygynous man that wants 100 children. Most women will say hell to the no. To being your wife, to being your second, third wife, to even to having part in producing any number of that. But you have plenty of women all over the planet that would love to have as many children as they can. So, like I said, brothers, in introducing polygyny, first just keep it 100. Let them know, listen, most of the time it's a declaration. Most of the time it's a realization you have, and then you just have to declare it. That's my number one advice to introducing polygyny. Declare it. Next is the educational route. Teach them what it is. And in that educational route, my pointers are to make sure you implement your program, whatever that is. Make sure you make it clear what it is so that there's no chaos with any income or the one you have versus others and etc. Make sure it's clear that what everything is real, that you're gonna keep it 100, right? Make sure that she knows from the rip, which is natural because there's a competition amongst women, right? And polygyny, that's a whole nother topic. There's a competition in life, period, with even the men, and that's why polygyny is even the standard because the nature of man, right, and wanting to have some type of rule for himself on a piece of this land on this planet, right? The extended hands of help. So there's a competition in the men, period, to get the women. Just like there's a competition in the women for the ideal man. Like I said, women realized a long time ago, so they do themselves up to make sure they're attractive. They do whatever they gotta do to make sure what they'll have at least the man they want. Nowadays, most women ain't gotta do too much because simp dudes, male concubines, and just take whoever and whatever standard. So they find that. Like I said, another example, what women figured out a long time ago. Women would rather have two, three, four dudes they mess around with. Simple as that. And they'll come across a dude like myself, and it's like, yeah, they like me. I'm more masculine than all four of these dudes put together. I'm more of her vibe than all four of these dudes put together. However, for the benefit in this life of material things, of comfort, of feeling and emotion, I'd rather go with these four dudes, right? For my plan and my flow, than switch out for him, even though he cool. I'd rather go with these four dudes because what? They know there's dudes that will follow my program. So why give up all of them that'll follow my program for this one? So it's the same with you, brothers. My last point again about the fishes in the sea, as we've all heard, don't beg any woman. Don't get discouraged by any woman. Don't let her tell you or dictate like religion what polygyny is. Don't let her tell you that polygyny is X, Y, and Z, therefore your program is right or wrong. Because the nature of man is polygyny, period. So however he desires to go forth with it, it's his thing. Simple as that. So don't let any religion, don't let any woman tell you that this is how you're supposed to do polygyny and that's what it is. Now, always remember, there is a woman. In fact, there are several women that'll go with your program.